Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Reminder, there are timestamps in every single description. There have been for about 3 years. So please, no comments about timestamps. If you don't care about the intro and the business updates and the things that I talk about at the start, just go to the description because there are always timestamps. All right, the first story that I have for you guys, I'm going to be honest, today was a bit of like a light news day. That doesn't happen so often where I'm like struggling to find relevant stories. Today was one of those days. Let's get into it. So the first story that I have for you guys is that Bella Hadid has claimed that she has never had a facelift or a fox eye lift in her new Vogue Beauty Secrets video. So Bella did a Vogue UK Beauty Secrets, like get ready with me video. And in it, she said, they always laugh. People think I've gotten a facelift or gotten that cat eye thing, whatever it's called. But I'm going to teach you an easier way. Okay, so normally I'm not like out here commenting on people's plastic surgery, on the work they've had done. I get Botox and I have had lip filler and I talk about that. I'm open with that. I've never had like surgery per se, but like those are the things that I've had done. And after she said this, okay, like I don't know if this is just me being like so naive because like of course the internet is like she's lying. I don't know if this is just me being like the most naive ever, but I was like, would she really straight up lie to us like this? I know Kylie Jenner lied to us about her lip filler, but she was like 16. I remember when she would just say like, oh no, I just like overline my lips. And all of my friends, this is like me outing myself, but all of my friends believed her. I remember this in university and I was always like, no, she very clearly has lip filler, but that's because I had been eyeing lip filler since I was like 11, which is like so toxic. I know. But I just thought, okay, Bella Hadid, like, could she really be standing here just like full on lying to us? Maybe she's had a procedure that is not called like a facelift or a fox eye lift, so that's how she can like say it. But I'm going to say, first of all, her brows actually don't look like they are currently lifted right now. Maybe she's had threads. Ooh, maybe she had threads back in the day and they've kind of like threads go away, right? That's temporary. Anyways, my other theory, so then I started Googling pictures of her and I was like, you know what? This is probably delusional of me, but I'm actually thinking maybe she never did. The reason being, all of the photos that we think of when we think of like Bella Hadid's fox eye lift, she has her hair pulled back super, super tight. And I don't know if a lot of us realize, like when you have a celebrity hairstylist doing your hair like that, and you're like, I want it slicked, I want it tight, I want it pulled, like how hard they can pull that. I think it's a combination possibly of like always having these really tight slicked hair. I think she definitely reshaped her brows so they like went upwards anyways, like giving Angry Birds vibes. I think obviously she lost some baby fat in her face, so that whole area looks a little bit more like sunken or like, you know, not as kind of youthful and plump. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this story is not because I'm like trying to figure out if Bella Hadid has lied to us or not. It's more because it got me thinking about the fact that like celebrity plastic surgery analysis content, which Jordy and I did a deep dive on like years ago when it was just first popping off, when like Lauryn Hill, for example, was like just starting to build her YouTube channel and all those plastic surgeons were just starting to like use social media and analyze celebrity faces. I think that content has actually like changed our brain chemistry. And I know the purpose of it was to expose, you know, like not everyone looks like this. Like you don't feel bad about yourself if you don't look like Bella Hadid because like here's all the work she's probably had done. But when I watch that content as someone who has work done, I think like I just don't know if they've had all of that, everything they say that these people have had. Because when I got lip filler, it genuinely changed like how big my nose looked. It genuinely changed like the proportions of my face. As I've aged, my jawline looks different. My eyes look different. My eyes look different day to day. I hold water like crazy. Like I am so puffy sometimes depending on what I've eaten the day before. And then like the next day I can look totally different. Like there's so much fluctuation going on, at least for me. And I think also probably because I do have lip filler, so it's like hyaluronic acid vibes. And then I think about the plastic surgery analysis content that we consume. It is so, I mean, it's done for clickbait, obviously, right? Like who doesn't want, like when you're scrolling, who doesn't stop on a celebrity analysis plastic surgery video? Like, of course, of course, it's so interesting. And it makes you feel so much better about yourself. I think that's a content niche that's a little bit out of control. I know they claim that the purpose of it, a lot of these creators claim that the purpose of it is to kind of like expose unrealistic beauty standards and make you feel better about yourself. And I'm sure it does that for some people. But I do think a lot of these creators who make this type of content, they know it gets views, it gets clicks, it's going to make them money. People are going to pop off in the comments section. And they know that it's also content that even though it's like judging what other people look like, you can kind of do it under the guise of like sitting on this moral high ground of like, well, I'm just trying to like educate people so that they feel better about themselves. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys is that popular anti-consumerist TikTok creator Mallory Brooks is feuding with viral fashion brand Odd Muse. You know what? She's actually not like anti-consumerist. She's more just, she's in the business of educating people about like ethical and unethical apparel business practices. So Mallory Brooks is the creator behind PlzDontBuyThat, which is a social account that essentially seeks to educate users on practices in the apparel industry. Part of her platform is being really open about like calling out brands when she feels they're not doing good enough, when she feels like they're being deceptive and lying. And she'll do reviews, like she'll do clothing reviews, merch reviews and stuff and tell people to buy it or to not buy it. And now she has called out Odd Muse, which is, I'm sure most of you guys know Odd Muse, but they are a massively popular TikTok favorite fashion brand by a British woman named Amy Smale. Amy is like the blueprint of documenting your founder journey on TikTok. I swear to God, like all the e-commerce girls just like copy what Amy has done because she, I feel like was one of the first that got really big from that kind of like watch me build out loud type of content. So she's very popular. Like people have such a parasocial relationship with her. So they buy her clothing. Her clothing is very cute. Like, don't get me wrong. So they used to be based in the UK and then she recently relocated to New York. And let me say, she did take a private jet from London to New York. So she is slang. Odd Muse, it's slang. 2 days ago, Mallory posted a video basically like laughing about the fact that Odd Muse calls itself a slow fashion and sustainable brand, when Mallory says, in her opinion, it is obviously a fast fashion brand.
I was introduced to the brand Odd Muse this week, and she loves to describe the company as slow fashion and sustainable. Within about 42 seconds of entering the website, it's really clear they are fast fashion by every sense of the definition. But she takes the angle that because the retails are really high and that they're made really well, that they're investment pieces. Let me just be clear in saying it's my belief that there is zero room for you to call a polyester dress an investment piece. It's all just marketing. It's all bullshit. It is not governed by any laws. People can say whatever they want. And obviously it works. She's very successful and the brand does huge numbers.
Amy saw this TikTok and responded with this. Fast fashion. Poor working conditions, long working hours, underpaid, multiple factory partners, forced to make orders within 1 week or they will choose another supplier, no craftsmanship, purely speed. Head office staff experience slow, professional, and novelty perks. Odd Muse, one family-run factory in China. Takes up to 5 weeks to create our orders, 8 weeks during peak. This is due to craftsmanship and attention to detail. Created a custom polyester blend for durability that no brand has ever been able to replicate, but is openly moving into cottons too. Factory has all proper audits. Internal staff have progressed much more with Odd Muse than any other big corporation they were previously with and receive pay rises every single year. She keeps going. So when it says in every sense of the word, I want to challenge that because this is why I am starting to dislike this app. Honestly, you could have done a whole video about me personally. I wouldn't have responded. But Odd Muse, I'll always defend what's right. Myself and my team have worked so hard for its genuine, deserved success, and it means everything to me and my family. Your words versus your knowledge in this video is not okay. Mallory was like, okay, if you're claiming this factory and this manufacturing process is so ethical, drop the name of your factory, and Amy would not provide that, which honestly, like, I think that's fair enough. She was like, I would not advise any small business owner to do that in a TikTok comment section. And because she is quite high profile on TikTok, she's like, they would just be inundated with requests, which I think is fair enough. However, then Mallory made another video and she said, which I don't know. So I know a lot of you guys are like fashion or fashion adjacent who listen. So let me know. But, she said that brands that are like actually slow fashion, actually sustainable, they have B Corp registration or whatever, like they will actually make it clear who does their manufacturing and all of their processes, because that's an important part of like sharing and being transparent about the sustainability of their brand. So yeah, I would say most people are agreeing with Mallory. There are, of course, like Amy stans and people in general who are just kind of like, this is like tearing down like, not a small business, but like an independently owned, like female founded business. And tons of people are like, a 5 to 8 week turnaround, like, is fast fashion. Like that's not slow fashion. But the most interesting part of this to me is, Amy's like a master marketer. Like regardless of if her brand is ethical and sustainable and all these things, aside from that, like it is very clear to me she is an amazing marketer, content creator first. And almost unfortunately for her, because of this skill set that she has, like her brand just blew the fuck up so quickly. She's only been going for 5 years. So the reality of this, when she's like, I hate this app, this is what's gonna destroy this app. I actually think it's like the tech bros that are destroying this app. The tech bros are like destroying the world. They are destroying the internet. It's not fashion commentators that are destroying the ecosystems online. The reality is because she has so many eyes on her brand so early, yeah, like that is scary. Like you are going to unfortunately get a lot of criticism, but if you are making claims like that and you do have all these eyeballs and you're reaping the benefits of all of those eyeballs, it's okay for people to hold you accountable for that and ask for proof of your claims and want you to be able to back up what you're saying, what you're selling to them, right? Because these are people who not only invest their time and energy like watching your content and building this parasocial relationship with you, but then they're going out and directly buying your clothes. I think she probably just shouldn't have responded. I understand why she did, and like when we get critical comments and stuff, like sometimes or a lot of times I do respond because it feels so closely tied to you. So I totally get it. You want to defend your work, you want to defend your team, you want to defend yourself. I don't think she should have responded. I think that's ended up like being worse for her. I think literally Mallory would have just made like one video maybe, and it would have moved on. But because she was responding and saying all these things, but not really providing like receipts or proof to back it up, then of course it just like snowballed. Anyways, if anyone has shopped Odd Muse, please let me know. I have not. Let me know your experience with the quality. Let me know if you have any knowledge on like slow fashion versus fast fashion. I don't have any knowledge in that space, but even just from like the vibes, I'm getting slow fashion requires many more boxes ticked, in my opinion. Okay, the last story that I have for you guys, I didn't see this until this morning. Nobody told me. My algorithms, they let me down this week. But Ruby Franke's son, Chad, went on the Squeeze podcast and talked about like his experience with his family, talked about his mother going to jail and like that whole situation. And it was so interesting. The Squeeze is the podcast by the Taylor Lautners, and I actually don't mind them as interviewers. Every once in a while I listen to their podcast and I find it okay. Like sometimes when it's celebrities interviewing other celebrities, like it's not the best. But I feel like maybe because there's two of them and they're married, so they're like incredibly comfortable with each other, it allows them to ask not like tougher questions, but like allows them to feel more comfortable in the interviewer seat, because it's not just like a one-on-one interview, especially when it's like hard topics like this. I actually found them like pretty good at interviewing him. So as we know, Chad was the son of Ruby Franke, who is now in jail. She was the matriarch of the 8Passengers YouTube channel, mommy vlogger. And then she got wrapped up into Connections, which was some like LDS mixed with like abusive fake therapy practices, cult brainwashing organization by this woman named Jodi Hildebrandt. all mixed together, and their whole family was going to quote unquote therapy with Jody. And then Ruby started to become like the face of connections, like with Jody, and their practices were like super harsh, super abusive. And then they were arrested on child abuse for Chad's younger siblings. So Chad says that the day that everything started to like really fall apart was the day that his mom uploaded the vlog where Chad said that he had been sleeping on a beanbag for 7 months. He said that's when he noticed a big difference in her. She yelled at him for saying that on camera. So like she uploaded it, and then all the backlash started. And this is when TikTok, I think it was 2020 when this happened. So like TikTok was a thing. And he said that there was a girl that made like one long TikTok video about the situation, and that just started to like snowball everything. And that started a hashtag free Chad movement where people were trying to literally like get him away from his mom. And he said once that started, like when she realized she was getting all this backlash, she like yelled at him for saying that on camera. Okay, Ruby, you posted that. You edited that video and then posted it. He talked about the free Chad movement and how that was like the most kind of impactful thing that's ever happened in his life. He says he has a hard time actually like remembering anything before free Chad, because obviously after that, that's when like everything blew up, right? So he was kind of talking about how like he just has a lot of like memory loss from like pre-free Chad. He says he still loves his mom, but he will not have her in his life. He said that they would write letters, or she would write him letters from jail, and they did have a phone call, and he was kind of standing up to her, and it was the first time anyone had really stood up to her. He said we had to talk to her in like very spiritual terms so she could understand. Like we would say, this is not very Jesus-like Jesus would not do this, Jesus would not like this. And she was kind of still a little bit brainwashed when they were having that conversation. And then a couple weeks later, she called him like sobbing, and he said it was a 5-minute phone call, and he didn't even get a word in because she was just sobbing, saying, "You're right, I'm so sorry." And since then, she's written letters, but he's like, I love her, and like, I've moved on, but I'm not going to have her in my life. He said after Ruby was arrested and everything blew up that he did a few weeks of therapy, and then he never did it again. But he was like, it was amazing doing therapy with like, because obviously he had done therapy, but with Jody. And he's like, Jody would just like tell me what to do. And he's like, the therapist like didn't tell me what to do. Like she would just ask questions, and then I would get to the answers myself. And it was like, wow, I can't believe that this is so helpful. He didn't need any more therapy. He said after a few weeks, I felt like, okay, I got everything I needed out of this. But like therapy now I know is like a safe space for me. I can always go back. And I thought to myself, Chad, I fear you need to still be in therapy, but okay, who am I to judge his healing journey? He also says his whole family has moved on. I don't know about that one. I don't, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. This all just happened. I found that really shocking, but I also found it like almost like so inspiring. Like he was so strong. I was literally like, this is God's strongest soldier. Like what the fuck? I was in awe. Oh my God. And he also said that when his mom started getting canceled and people started like making videos about 8Passengers and what was going on there, they were losing subscribers. He was like, I was literally worried about our money. Like my first thought was not like, oh my God, I'm so concerned for myself, my siblings, my family. He was like, I was concerned about the money that we were going to be losing. And he said he doesn't have like any regrets or like resentment because everything that he's been through has made him stronger. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. It was kind of a crazy interview. I couldn't believe how like calm and mature he sounded. So resilient, so strong. He's put up some boundaries with his mother. Like, you know what? Actually, maybe I take it back. Maybe he did learn everything he needed to in therapy, because honestly, listening to him was inspiring, literally. Anyways, I actually do recommend listening to this interview if you guys haven't already. I thought it was like some good insight into his experience. I know that there's like documentaries, like I know that we've like heard from the family and things like that, but I thought just like a full-on like long form like sit down interview with him, I found very compelling, because he was as he mentions, kind of like this one thing he said in a vlog was like the catalyst to literally everything else blowing up. Anyways, guys, that's it for Mini Scroll today. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please rate, review, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers and 1,000 Spotify star ratings. And there will be a deep dive for you guys tomorrow, and then I will talk to you on Monday. Okay, bye.